Bob.
Quickly, what are the logistics of doing the bike benefit stickers such that you get $250 out of that 5? How do you do that?
As long as you're a bike organization, you can sell them. And so, like, you just make one up. Okay, so like, I didn't have one. So I just called it charlottespokespeople.org, and Ian said, okay, as long as you give back to the cycling community, then he is fine with that.
Wow.
Okay? So, you know, it could be Portland, Maine,
Yeah.
bike, whatever.
Maine,
And
yeah.
so that's how I fund all the Cycling Savvy scholarships, you know, and that's what I do. All the money from bike benefits in Charlotte goes directly back to the riding community. So some of the things I do is I tune up the bikes of the bike leaders who help me on the rides. It'll go towards Cycling Savvy scholarships. It'll go towards, I bought pumps to put at area bike benefits locations around town. So if you need air or whatever, you just go there, you can use their pump. Or I bought, you know, a couple tire levers and stuff and put it at a brewery. You know, that's what I do with the bike benefits money.
Okay.
So if I were to organize a group ride of a bunch of random people, not cycling savvy students, I would want them to follow my instructions as the ride leader and the protocols, but I could imagine them either totally disregarding that or just screaming at me and just leaving the ride in a huff. And so I'm wondering how that works for you. How do you get people to follow your instructions and the group ride protocols?
It is not a perfect world. All we can do is model good behavior, and we have to get more people to model good behavior. It is not perfect. Most of my ride leaders now have been through Cycling Savvy except 2 or 3, which is very good. And I've kind of pressured the other 2 or 3, hey, you need to come take this class, right? They haven't done it yet, but most everybody has. The other thing is we do a safety meeting at the beginning, and we establish, you know, here's what we're going to do. Okay, don't pass the leader. You pass the leader because, you know, the young guys want to go real fast and they want to make it into a race. It's not a race, it's a ride. If they pass the leader, they're on their own ride. They don't know the route. They don't have blimps. You know, they're on their own. And people will do that, and that's fine. I don't care. As far as stopping at the lights, you have to have, you know, enough people, and you build rapport with these people. Hey, we don't want you to get run over. You need to stop at the lights, and you just need to be pretty firm with that. And I just show up every week, and I just keep telling people, and I'm pretty persistent. So that's, I don't know what else you can do.
So I'm sorry. If you say, okay, we're gonna control the lane here, or you know.
I don't say control the lane. You just do it, and they will follow. It's monkey see, monkey do. Yeah.
So, because of Pamela, I taught with Pamela in December and was so impressed by what she was doing, and started the Tuesday night ride here. My commitment has been this year, every Tuesday night. It had to be convenient for me. We needed a location close by, and the ride has taken on a life of its own. If I quit doing it, it'll keep going now. And we're not nearly as large as you. We had 25 riders this last Tuesday, which is pretty typical. But it's so much fun. It's a party every Tuesday night. The one thing I learned that you didn't mention, I think it's really important, and I'm the leader still. I'm at the front of the pack. I know that I don't have savvy cyclists with me, and I am religious about left tire track position. Because, you know, I'm out there, you know, that's where I'm going to be, and the people know, you know, it's a very visible position. The one thing I have a lot of trouble with that I'd like to ask you, I try to have somebody at the back. We do have to make left turns, and it is like herding cats.
Yes.
I mean, you know, my left turn people can't see me, or who's ever back there, and they're busy schmoozing or whatever, and it's just hard to get the group to make a left turn.
Yeah, that is difficult, and you know, I mean, it's just something that you work on in terms of communication, right? I mean, you tell everybody, hey, either pass it back, pass the signal back, either verbally or you know, using arm signals or whatever, and it just takes repetition. is all I can say.
One of the things for the left turn is, in our cycling savvy tours, we've always made sure to have a group left as part of the course. And so that gives us a few people to know how to do it. And if we get a couple of those people in a ride, that'll help the two people managing the ride because, oh, I know what I'm going to be doing, you know, and the left turn gets passed along so that we do the group left, leading from the back. The other point I wanted to make real quick was, you know, when we talk about getting the people to come to class, it still seems to me, I mean, I've had people tell me, yes, I'm interested in taking the workshop, and even to the point where we had a sign-up sheet at a couple of bike events 2 winters ago, and got emails and sent everybody emails that, hey, we've got the classes on the schedule, please come out. And it was like the emails went into a vacuum. I never heard another thing out of it. And I don't know where the line is between sending them repeated emails, badgering them about it, and just saying, here it is, you know.
But did you get a response back? You didn't get a response back at all, right?
So I got 20% response back.
Yeah, so the people who don't respond, I just message them or I try a different form of communication. So if it's an email, I'll try to Facebook message them or text them or call them or see them at a ride or something like that. And I'll just ask them, hey, are you going to come? Why can't you come? You want to set up another date, right? Because I try to get some sort of commitment. And it is really just practice like anything else. You just have to keep asking people to take the class or come to the course, right? And you know, so I am going to do a sponsored course, hopefully in the beginning of November with our neighborhood association, because I got the president to come. She said, oh, this is great, everybody should take this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So everybody, so now we're going to do a sponsored course, and hopefully we'll have enough people there. But you can't ever rely on anybody to do your marketing for you. You always have to ask as the instructor, hey, you should come. And people appreciate that.
In the back.
In the back,
Oh, I'm
Lyle
sorry.
has a question.
Who's responsible? You're a ride leader. In a class, we have some, everybody thinks, well, you're responsible.
Right.
Somebody gets hurt or has an issue, do you have liability forms?
No,
or
I don't have any of that. My take on it is that I create the route, I'm the ride leader, and if people want to follow me, that's up to them. And it's their responsibility
Make that clear.
right. Because a lot of people do have all this liability forms and everything, and I don't want to have a liability form because it sends the message that it's dangerous, and it's not dangerous. We've never had a instance with a bike car crash. We've had a lot of solo crashes. We've had some bike crashes, as you can imagine. A lot of new riders get stuck in the gutter, on the gutter scene, and fall. So,
Pam, we've thought long and hard about trying to replicate your successes in Charlotte. And at any one week in St. Louis, there are probably a dozen recreational rides. If you put them all together, we'd get your numbers. But the numbers you do on these individual rides are truly extraordinary. And they're probably unmatched in even greater metropolitan, much larger metropolitan areas. So if you could list 2 or 3 factors that contribute to the overwhelming success of your ride, what would they be? Did they fill a vacuum, for example? Was there no other competition in terms of rides in a week? Or is
No,
it,
there's a lot.
or is it simply a tribute to you as a dynamic personality? No, I'm serious. And does this simply,
No,
does this simply prove what force of will by one individual can accomplish?
Yeah, I think I just show up, you know, and I show up every week. So, you know, after a while, they just come around with me and they see me riding around because I ride about 5,000 miles a year. Everybody just sees me riding around. It's like, you know, people will honk and like, I don't have any idea who that is. But anyway, I just wave at them. You know, they say, hey, Pam. I'm like, hey, I don't know who they are. But anyway, I don't know. We have lots of rides in Charlotte. I did this social ride because I felt like I couldn't attend any of the other spandex rides, right? I didn't want to go 12 to 15 miles an hour. I didn't want to go 17 miles an hour. I didn't want to be stuck with going with people really fast who I didn't trust their riding skills, because I know that they've had a lot of serious crashes. So I would rather have a slower paced ride in case there is a crash. It's not going to be that serious, right? I mean, we have had crashes that are like at 2 miles an hour, bike crashes, you know, people just lose their balance. But I don't really know, Harold. I think it's a combination of bike benefits and being consistent. Really, I think that's what it is.
Is there anything peculiar to the Charlotte demography that would explain it?
I don't know, we do have a lot
Nothing at
of,
all.
we're a younger city, a lot of people are moving there. But it's sad because like a lot of the young people, once they start riding a lot, they're like, oh, I want to move to Portland, Oregon. You know, so we have a lot of people that do that. And it's like, okay. But I don't really know. I think it's a combination of bike benefits, cycling savvy, and the ride altogether. I don't think it's any one thing. And you know, I'm not there for my Sunday ride tomorrow, so I got a ride leader. He's a cycling savvy person, so I can trust him. And he's helped me a lot. I don't know, do you remember Mark Raskio?
Oh,
Yeah, the son, yeah, so he's gonna lead my Sunday ride. Carol?
So follow up on the bicycle benefits and John's question. I regularly see checks come in from you personally where you're paying for students to take the cycling savvy class, or you're helping to subsidize the fees to take the class. Did you set up a separate legal entity? You did not set up a separate
I
legal
haven't done
entity.
any of
The legal entity that's receiving this $250
Yeah.
per sticker is you personally. Then you're just keeping this separate and,
Right.
and like, this is my slush money that I can now help people. And it's at a de minimis level right now.
Right, and I
overall-
keep records of all of that, so there is a paper trail, and I do keep track of
Right.
how much bike benefits money is coming in
Right.
and going out. So
Okay.
I do have an auditable trail, but I don't have any
Yeah, I guess
separate accounts
separately.
that I'm thinking of.
I'm an accountant, so I look at things a little differently.
Yes.
But that's a very intriguing idea, because we're trying to figure out how do we get more people into the courses, and maybe helping people with knowledge on how to set up a 501c4, which is a
Yeah.
very less rigorous process than a C3, as a
Right.
community benefit. It's something that improves our communities, right? And then you'd have a separate legal entity, and if you're under 50,000 in revenue, you don't even have to file a return that has any numbers on it. So the administration of something like that is really very simple, and it could set up that separate legal entity to receive that money with its own separate tax IDs. Anyway, it's just a very interesting concept,
I
and
think that's a good idea.
you're bringing
I would
money
probably
in.
do that if I knew
And,
how.
because it would be more, yeah, it would be more scalable. Well, that may be something I can help with the
Okay.
template, so that's interesting. Thank you, Pam.
Hi, I just wondered, what time does your Tuesday night ride start? And if people don't have lights, do you have something to provide for people?
Okay, yes, I can answer both of those. The ride starts at 8 o'clock. I did that initially because I had yoga until 6:15, and I had to go home and eat dinner and then get up there to the ride. But I don't have yoga anymore. But anyway, it still works out as a good time. We have a lot of people who commute to work, drive their cars to work, and they have to go home, let the dog out, get the bike, get there to the ride. So 8 o'clock works as a pretty good time. It's kind of hard for people who are early birds, who have to wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. For those people, they'll usually ride to the stop, which is 9:20. So they've ridden 10 miles basically, and then they ride back by themselves, and then they'll get back earlier. I try to be back to the start around 10:15, 10:20. Sometimes it's a little bit later than that, depending upon the size of the group, because when you go into any one place of business with 100 people, it's going to take a long time for them all to get served. And then I just make sure they're all served and they're done, and then we go. Okay? So, lights, I'm sorry. We do provide lights. So I buy all these lights off of eBay. They're like less than $2. And so I do a $5 refundable deposit. And so that'll even cover if people need a set of lights, front and back. Okay? So I'm always covered in terms of those funds, right? So I have a light fund. I'm like, okay, I'll loan you these lights. Hey, you need lights. Would you like to borrow some? You have $5. Here you go. If you give me the lights back, you get the $5 back. It's as simple as that. So they do have the lights because those are required by law. And I can send you that link. I mean, they're less than $2. So even if people walk off with them, I don't care. You know? Okay.
You have to fire down, that's right.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but I used to loan them out and they say, oh yeah, I'm gonna give them back, and I never see them.
Yes, I'm wondering how ABEA might be able to
extend what you're doing to other cities. We have a need for it in Boston, I can tell you. We've got, the closest thing to it I know is what's called the Boston Bicycle Party.
Right.
Which is sort of an alternative to critical mass in that they're not as disrespectful of the
Right.
law. They'll cork intersections, but they don't, they are not in your face about it.
Right. So we just
the-
need to get a cycling savvy person to do their own ride. And they may not want to do it weekly. They may want to do it monthly or quarterly, or they may want to just do it on an announced basis. But we need a cycling savvy person to lead those rides to model best behavior, right?
I'll answer that that's something that I've got a note of from the ABA standpoint, to take this back and take a look at how we model it for the nation. Did you have a question, Sue?
Over there behind you.
Here comes Martin.
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm impressed by the number that you typically get on your rides. Did I get this correct? Was it 100 typically, or more than that?
It's usually 100 if it's really nice and there's no threat of rain. So if it is misting at quarter till when I show up, there will only be 35 people there. If it's 17 degrees, we will only have 17 people. But I always do ride. If it's snowing, we probably only have 10 people. But in the warmer months, our largest ride is usually Halloween because people like to dress up. And we've had like 150, 200 people.
It's impressive.
But I think that's really, I think that's still small compared to some people's critical masses and stuff like that.
Who wants the box?
I'm sorry, we're running over.
Our time is just about up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to suggest something. I wonder if you've tried this, that, you know, when you've got people together physically, there's different opportunities, you know, than when they're online, et cetera. I'm sure you're always plugging the course
Right.
during your rides. Have you thought about having people buddy up? And, you know, even though,
Right.
you know, I'm interested in taking the course, who else, you know, that they try to keep each other on board, you know, as
Right.
far as, okay, you're my buddy, and we're gonna both go through this course together.
Right, and I think
might-
that's a good thing, and, you know, there's actually a new, thing from Ian, the same guy that thought up bike benefits. His new thing is called Bike Buddies, and, which is basically what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I think you were more referring to the ride. Are you more?
No,
or
I was
just
referring
anything?
to cycling, committing to take the cycling savvy course.
Oh, okay,
That while you're promoting that to the
Right.
group, that, you know, if you're interested in it, find
right.
a buddy who might also be interested and sort of keep each other on track to pressure one another to
Yeah.
stick with it and do the course.
That is good. And so all my cycling savvy students know that, you know, to tell other people to take the class. I'm like, oh, don't you know anybody that needs to take this class next month? I mean, they all know to do that. So they're always asking for me.
I'm Karen Dunnam from Michigan, and last spring I traveled to New Orleans, stumbled across the New Orleans Social Ride. If you are on Facebook, if you have a computer, if you have a phone, you might want to check them out. They get about 1,000 people whenever they have an event, and it's really fun because they light up their bikes. They do not ride effectively, they do not ride safely. It was horrible for me to ride along with them, but I just sent them a certain video link that they might benefit from. And I found them via a business card and a bike shop. So that's another way to publicize.
Right.
What's the frequency of that?
I believe it's weekly, and then they have other ones during the week called pop-ups.
I think they get 1,000 each week.
Oh, yeah.
Each week.
Oh, yeah.
Or we say look at 500 more for riding monthly, and 1,000 for the daily bike ride. But on a weekly basis, that would be extraordinary for a city with the population size of New Orleans.
All right, it's 10:15.
Thank you.
Everyone thank Pamela for her.